What's up, everybody? It's the Common Sense Investor coming at you with another video. And in this video, I really want to get to the rest of the order in which Vice Chancellor Zern has already signed and get to the nut cutting of when we should expect the reverse stock split. But I constantly have these dickheads want to put out shit about me, and I have to address it because he's speaking about the arbitrage. Let me read it to you. He says, "Oh, poor Bubsy Wubsy," talking about me. Poor Bubsy Wubsy can't admit he's wrong about the arbitrage because that would hurt his fee-fees. Does little Bubby need a binky to make him feel better? No, bitch. I don't need a binky to make me feel better because I'm not wrong. And before the end of this video, you're going to know that the arbitrage is a myth, and I'm going to prove it using his own words, and then I'm going to expose him as the shill that he is. Because he's reaching out to one of them huge-ass market makers. I'm going to prove it to you before this video ends. So let's get started, okay? First, let's go look at the video that he's talking about where he says I'm wrong and that he's right and that I need a binky. Want to know if I need a binky. Okay, so let's listen to a noisy hoe here as he runs his mouth about shit he don't understand or does understand and just don't want to tell the truth about. Let's hear it.
You know, never have I seen a more sterling example of someone talking for 10 minutes and saying nothing than the Common Sense Investor's most recent video on the arbitrage. Now, while I could probably attach, since he has no real arguments here, a stay in your lane comment and move on with my life, no, I'm going to show how thoroughly I can talk on this subject and how little he knows by explaining point by point and going through examples rather than making a random gesture towards a YouTube search I did and calling it a day.
I'm going to let him sink his own ship.
These videos that he shows
don't
go over the underlying mechanics, the economics that go into the arbitrage play, both how it becomes possible and what happens as a result of executing on that trade. It simply tells you how to do the trade, which is like baby's first steps. But since there's a cottage industry of crypto traders, we should probably talk about that sort of arbitrage and where all these people are coming from. And that's Forex trading. All these people that are doing crypto arbitrage, like Three Arrows Capital, remember those guys when they completely melted down last summer? Yeah, they were doing crypto arbitrage. And what were they doing before they got into crypto? Forex arbitrage. Well, why did all these Forex arbitragers suddenly move into crypto? It's because they became obsolete. Why is this an important story? Because it proves my point. All these people left Forex arbitrage to move into crypto arbitrage because the spreads between these currencies, I mean, you can look at any of these currencies, like the dollar compared to the Canadian dollar, or the dollar compared to the yen, or the dollar compared to the euro, or any of these trades. Like, at most, you see 20-cent movements over the course of a decade. If the way that CSI put it is true, what would it matter the speed of closing in on an arbitrage? The only reason that speed would matter on get profit on an arbitrage is if the spread eventually closes because supply and demand takes over. You know, like I've been saying, there is no trade, no arbitrage that is immune to the laws of supply and demand.
There's no arbitrage that is exempt from the law of supply and demand. Y'all remember he said that, okay? Get an understanding of exactly how supply and demand works, and we're going to use AMC, all right? You got 525 million shares of AMC. And supposedly, we own 90% of the float, although I think it's like 500% of the float, but 90% of the float, and we're holding, all right? And what happens is when the shorts are pressured and they have to cover, they come over here, and there is a demand for these shares, and the price will go up. The more hedge funds and the more market makers that end up needing AMC, the price continues to go up. The law of supply and demand. That's how that works. Let's finish listening to him.
Of one asset, the price will go up, and you sell enough of one asset, the price will go down. That's just basic supply and demand. So if someone was able to do a trade at enough frequency, eventually the prices will converge.
Now let me interject right there and elaborate on what he's talking about, and I'm going to use AMC and APE as an example, okay? Back it up if you didn't catch it. Listen to him again and you'll see that what he's saying is the faster that the AIs can get in there and they can transact, they close the arbitrage price. That AMC and APE, for example, when the news of the settlement was given out, AMC immediately started falling and APE started rising. Why? Because the demand for AMC was gone and the demand for APE was there. Okay? So the supply of AMC was plentiful. Nobody's willing to even buy it anymore. Nobody cares about AMC. They just want APE. And the two prices would go like this till they meet in the middle. That's the arbitrage. Now, because it's an algorithm that's doing it, an AI as he called it, then it's going to happen really fast. It's going to go boop, and next thing you know, the two should meet in the middle. And then he uses the phrase supply and demand is what's going to be doing it, and I'm about to show you how he's wrong.
Thus closing the arbitrage, just like it would in any Forex trade. Those examples don't do enough for you? Okay, how about the simplest and easiest example of an arbitrage that everyone can conceptualize and knows about? Market makers. Yeah, I know. You guys just love those people. I'm sure that'll just add to my heel rep by explaining the trade that I'm doing is basically what market makers do for a living 24/7 on every stock in every exchange. Yeah, really shooting myself in the foot here. But it is true, in order to complete a sale, a market maker is simultaneously long and short to close the trade.
I gotta stop him right there so y'all can understand that what he's talking about is payment for order flow. Alright? When he introduces the market maker and he starts talking about, ooh, these evil people, but you have to understand this is what they do. They're talking about payment for order flow. You order your shares through a broker that has payment for order flow, and they send it to the market maker, and the market maker hooks it up, and you know how it all turns out with payment for order flow. All right? We disagree with it. We're the only country in the world that still has it. But that's what he's talking about when he introduces the market maker, and he's going, ooh, trying to make you at ease with them. And watch how I'm fixing to expose his ass for what he's about to do.
They find the median price between the bid and ask and get the trade completed. Their reward is to get the benefit of that spread price, just like an arbitrage trader would be. And if you have any problems with this example, how about this?
I gotta say it again before I drop the bomb, people. Listen, he just got through saying you order your shares, it goes to the market maker, they do their thing, Citadel and the rest of them, they do their thing, and it comes out the other end. That's payment for order flow. All right, now listen to the challenge he's going to throw down to me, and you're going to laugh your ass off when I show you the hustle that he just tried to pull off. Check it out.
And if you have any problems with this example, how about this? Doug Sifu is always on Twitter, always engaging with you all, and always talking with you despite how much you insult him on a daily basis.
Listen, CSI. Here's the challenge, CSI. I want you to go on Twitter, and there's a guy there named Doug Sifu, and he runs Virtue, and I want you to tag me and you and him in the post. And then I want you to put a timestamp into the video so he can go look at it, and he's the referee. Get the fuck out of here. Here it is.
How about this, Bubby? You tag me and Doug, and you ask him, and you can timestamp this exact spot in this video if you want to, and you ask him if I'm right.
Did you hear that? You ask one of the head market makers behind payment for order flow. You ask him who's right, me or you. Are you fucking serious? Let's listen to this clip from old Doug.
Markets for 32 years at CNBC, and my impression is the retail investor has never had it better. But what's wrong with more competition? I mean, this is what Gensler is talking
8,000 listed names. You know, the cliche that markets have never been better is actually factually correct.
Yeah, I have been covering the markets for 32 years at CNBC, and my impression is the retail investor has never had it better. But what's...
Are you serious? Now here it is. Here's Doug Sifu of Virtue and this reporter saying that retail investor has never had it better. And this is the referee that Noisy Ho wants to have between me and his argument. I disagree. I would rather have an independent. I would take Phil for real before I would take Doug Sifu to be a moderator between a debate between me and you as to whether the arbitrage is true or not. All right? But it is not. It's not. And the law of supply and demand is a myth, people. It doesn't exist today. According to Doug Sifu, the same person, he says infinite liquidity. If you press that buy button, they gonna fill the order. It don't make a fuck whether they got the share or not. So, the law of supply and demand became obsolete when they started using infinite liquidity. So the argument of supply and demand, and it goes to the market maker, which is Doug Sifu here, who believes in payment for order flow because that's where he gets his billions of dollars, is not going to referee between me and you and the myth between supply and demand. Now, my next video, how was that 10 minutes, motherfucker? My next video is going to be on the algorithm. Since he had to bring it up, I'm going to go show you the algorithm. I'm going to show you exactly what happened Friday with the algorithm. So with that, I love you. Be blessed, and I'll see you in the next video.
I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing